Yeah, this also becomes a whole rabbit hole in itself. What's sustainable, right?
What's sustainable?
So if you tell me a recycled polyester garment is sustainable, at one end, yes, because you're recycling, PET bottles. But if you're producing millions of garments in it and only 20% sells, and you throw away the rest, that's also waste, right? So when you look at the whole issues of sustainability, which is a big topic in the industry, it's you have to look at it from very different angles.
It makes it quite complex as well then for you to decide, okay, how do we position our company? Because there's a public perception of what is sustainable, or this company is doing something sustainable. We may want to work with them, and this company is not.
Yeah.
But the way it's looked at may be very different, as you just pointed out.
True. This is like a kind of side, note of some information. The introduction of fast fashion, and I'm not against or for fast fashion, but what I'm against or for would be maybe producing too much without the knowledge of what could be sold. And there's data points that show that 80% of brand's sales comes from 20% of its product. So in other words, you're producing 80% things that don't sell,
which become waste.
So, and at the same time, your prices are gone down, in the last 10 years. In Japan itself, 40 to 50%. So you see this strange dynamic of buying cheap, but producing more things that don't sell, right? So it's a challenge in the industry.
Would you say, maybe as a kind of hot take, that generally speaking, in an industry that kind of accelerated faster and faster over the last decade with the introduction of fast fashion, and it used to be, a trend for a year, it used to be a trend for 2 years, and you used to plan for seasons. Now you plan for weeks. A lot of companies, they produce something every week. You see new garments coming out. Would it be perhaps now time to just slow down everything and go back to how it was maybe before?
I can only tell you my thinking. And I'm sure everyone has different opinions on this. But I don't believe that this argument is about slow fashion versus fast fashion. Fast fashion succeeds for a reason. It's because, it's the Amazon effect, right? It's satisfaction. You see what's in trend, you see the color in trend, and you can buy it today. You don't want to wait so long to buy a shirt, right? So you also have to maintain that speed, but you also have to focus on better quality. And how can you do on-demand production? Because textiles there's a long lead time involved in the whole process, actually, from yarn to a garment, right? How can you shorten it, but without sacrificing quality and really focusing on what's something good, And I think by doing this, you can minimize the waste, and you can also reproduce. You don't need to hold so much inventory. You just rebuy what you feel is good if you can get it to market faster. So there's it's like a double dynamic, Yeah.
And you mentioned on-demand production, which is actually something that was kind of initially introduced by Toyota, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
With the car manufacturers.
True.
Is this something that you think is realistic also, maybe? In the
it's
fashion industry?
Getting more and more realistic. But there's always, you always have to sacrifice something to make that happen. So, but you, like you said, you have to position yourself. So we have this new printing factory in Kyoto, which does on-demand printing.
Cool.
Yeah. So the goal is what usually takes, let's say, 30 to 45 days to produce a custom print, we can do in a day to 6 days. Okay. But that changes the dynamic of the customer, because then the customer can make samples, put it online. They see what they sell, and then they can produce inventory and garments based on what they can forecast better. So you're minimizing the total waste, right? And I think, and on top of that, it's a waterless system. So you're adding the waterless together with the reduction of inventory. So it's a win-win, right, for everyone.